the music I like to hear. Thanks for joining us, everybody, today. This is Chris Adams, Body Slam the Competition, with my co-host today, as always, Mike Currents. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Chris. Now, doesn't that music just make you want to comb your hair out? Never mind.
I don't have hair anymore, so I can, but it does make the hair on my arm stand up, though, when I hear it still today, though, watching for the guys to come out of the curtain and everything. In case you guys haven't figured it out already, we got a great guest on this week, and that music should tip you off. We've got Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express on with us this week. We're going to talk about. And Ricky, I believe we got you on the air with us now. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Man, we're doing great as well. Thanks for asking.
Which one was talking about? I missed a little something there about the hair. Would you have a hair batch?
Oh, no, that's Mr. Smarty Pants here, my co-host here. I think he's making a reference to me because I don't have the hair to comb anymore. So, he's
Chris had a hair match.
I was making last night. Robert and I were down in North Carolina, and I was making something to Robert. He's losing his hair back there, and we have bad weather up here, really. And I told him he kept saying, I said, Robert, won't you just shave your head and go as a Russian? He looked at me and said, a Russian? I said, yeah, you can change your name to Balls Frozen Off, because it was tough.
Could he pull the voice off, though?
Could he
do Nikita? Is it possible he could do a Nikita Koloff type voice, you think?
Oh, I don't know, man. I understand, but it's a great pleasure to be on your show today.
Well, thank you.
Who we got, Mike and Chris?
Yes, I'm Chris, and the other guy is Mike. I'm just going to refer to him as the other guy today. He's not behaving today, so the other guy is Mike.
Well, you know what? It ain't like I'm watching you on a video screen. I don't know which is which, but it's cool, man.
That is true.
It's great. Where you guys from, man? Where you guys from?
Well, Mike.
What town? Hello?
Mike?
I'm from West Virginia.
Gentlemen,
I'm sorry,
I have lost you.
Did you hear what he said? He kind of faded out a little bit. Mike's from Buchanan, West Virginia. Buchanan, West Virginia. I'm from originally just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I lived in a little county called Cheatham County there. And I'm in Florida as we speak. I've been here for 3 years now. So.
Have you really?
But,
speaking of Nashville, I'm from right outside of Nashville. Well, you say Nashville, Antioch, Tennessee. Went to school at Antioch High School, man. Yep. Man, I used to call it L.A., Lower Antioch. That's it.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of people
had a
call
great
it that
time there, and I've been up to the town Chris is from, and I'm in West Virginia a lot. Matter of fact, I'll be going through there this week. Me and a guy named Chase Owens. We're going to be. Matter of fact, I might as well plug it. We're going to be in Marietta, Ohio, at the Lafayette Hotel downtown. What a great place! Great wrestling show. Yes, it's the Lafayette Hotel downtown Marietta, Georgia. It's got to be pre-century hotel. It's real old, man. And but gosh, man, it's been all restored, and they have great shows in there. As a matter of fact, I'm wrestling Chase. I don't know if you guys know Chase Owens, but I'm wrestling him.
I have heard the name. I'm trying to place where, though, but I have heard the name. I'm sure I've seen it on Facebook as far as I've seen it. Probably, he may even be on my Facebook as far as that goes, possible.
Well, he's in the Bullet Club in Japan, but you got to understand, Chase is one of my top students from the School of Morton. I have when you get older, Robert and I are still very active, but don't get me wrong. Willing-wise, I can still wrestle. It can, but, there comes a time when, Father Time is undefeated. But I have a great wrestling school where I train a lot of guys, man, down there. Anybody out there listening to the School of Morton? But we'll get into that later.
Now,
hey,
that must be a good feeling right there. You don't have a top student. Like a top student being the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club's pretty big right now. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, guys, I train a lot of people. I trained Kid Cash, and a bunch of them out there. A lot of guys are trained in the ring over the years because back then when you broke into business, you didn't have facilities to work out in every day. I do, now I do. That's what's wrong with our business today. But guys, I'm not hosting your show. Let me follow your lead, okay?
All right. Well, look, you had a great career, still going today. Like you said, you still wrestle sometimes. You and Robert out there tag teaming in certain places, and sometimes individually or with other people. So you're still going strong. Um,
Yeah, bud.
how many times or how many different tag team belts would you say you guys have owned over the years? I know you're 5-time
You know what,
WCW, I
man?
believe, right?
Yeah, no, NWA, and that's not 5 or 8.
NWA,
But, you know,
okay.
yeah, but, you know, dude, I don't know, because I wrestle so many territories, especially on the independent circuit. I know Tracy Smothers called me one day, and he told me, Ricky Morton, because, you know, you have all your reviews on the internet and everything. He told me, he said, man, you hold more titles than anybody in the world. But it's because I still, you know, very active in our business, man. I am. And but you know, and you hear all this bull crap. You know, somebody told me the other day, and he come to me and he says, you know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I said, yeah,
right.
That's if you got a big trust fund. What did you? But no, man, I love my business and everything. But yeah, man, very, very active in it, and 8 times. But you know, man, back then we had territories too, and you know, Memphis, Louisiana, Smoky Mountain. All these times and belts, and I literally couldn't even tell you how many belts I held. But the main ones is the World Tag Team Champions. Yes, and we were 8-time World Tag Team Champions.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, was there ever a tag team out there that you think you'd want to wrestle that you never got to?
Well, guys, the business changed a lot. It ain't the part that at our time, and when we were real big, now we wrestled all of them. But nowadays you have the. But you know what, man? That's what's wrong with our business, and people can say everything they want to. And my opinion's my opinion. It only versus off me. But you got to understand, you have tag team wrestling today, and the reason they got away from it is because literally and virtually nobody knows what they're doing. They don't know how to tag team wrestle. I had a lot of them. Matt and Jeff Hardy. We was going to wrestle them not long ago. Jeff had an accident and broke his leg or something, and that didn't happen. But maybe in the near future, I like the guys too. Them boys are good boys and great workers. They are, man. They're just a great credit to our business.
Great matches too. I mean, great matches they've had in the past, really.
Oh yeah, man. My hat's off to them guys.
Now, we had Bobby Fulton on the show several weeks ago, and he was telling us, I'd asked him a question. I said, you were in the same time frame as the Rock and Roll Express, and you guys were kind of equally as big, it seemed like, but usually in different areas at the time. Was there ever any talk? I asked him about the two of y'all being at the same place and actually fighting each other, because that would have been, I thought, a great feud to see, the two teams that were so much alike in a sense, finally going at it with each other. And he had said, if you remembered correctly, this is back whenever they were making changes in NWA or WCW, one or the other. I forget which it was, how it was. I think it was toward one of your last times y'all were there. And there were some changes in the bookers and stuff, and it was going to be done before that, but the new one come in and decided not to. Do you remember anything about that, how y'all were going to have some kind of a feud together for a little bit?
Buddy, to tell you truthfully, I try to figure out the other day. During my career, I've had over 6,000 matches, and
hard to remember them all.
And if you think about that, it's I don't even remember that. I was watching. My son was watching WWE Network the other day, and he called me in there, and I just about forgot it. It's some matches that we have that they have on TV there, and God, I forgot about them. But it's not being mean or not being disrespectful to anybody. We was involved in a lot of things, especially during the part of WCW. A lot of chaos, a lot of stuff going on. And virtually, I don't remember, buddy. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Just one of those questions I like to throw out there.
Yeah, I got you.
Mike, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you, Chris. Had a little bit of technical difficulty and had to reroute myself a little bit here.
That's all right, man. You got a question for us?
Yeah, Ricky, we all know that you had a lot of great singles matches with the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and that you were really, I guess from what I read, you were maybe in contention for an NWA World Title run. Could you maybe reminisce a little bit for us? And
well, buddy,
it's
a
what was
time.
it like breaking out of that tag team and doing that singles with Ric Flair? And if I remember correctly, whenever you got in the ring with him, it was always a good match.
Yeah, buddy, I did. A lot of people don't even understand it. And, if you read Rick's book and read some of the stuff he does, Rick and I had a great angle going. It wasn't nothing the part of that. Yes, I had an opportunity to go on by myself, but you see, I dedicated myself in this business. Man, when I started the Rock and Roll Express, I was going to finish it with Robert, and which I did. Some people say I was crazy, but it's all right. But you got me and Rick, man. We in our times, which they had the arenas at the time that wasn't as big as they are now, and me and Rick broke a lot of records, attendance records, especially Elvis Presley's records about wrestling. Me and Rick, man, we did. You got to understand, to me, Ric Flair is the real world heavyweight champion. To my opinion, nobody can stand to him. And understand me, if you wrestled Rick, buddy, and you paid to see your money to watch him, he gave you your money's worth. I mean, you wasn't going out there and going a 10-minute match, So you got to understand having a run with Ric Flair. Either if you didn't go an hour time limit, you went 59 minutes in the match. So, and that was every night, and that's even in tag matches. But I had a great opportunity to do that. I had a great run. Rick and I, and like I said, this for me, I had the opportunity to be in a situation, to wrestle Ric Flair and to do what we did. It was one of great honors to me. One of my great achievements in my business is to know that I had a great run with the real world champion like that.
I got to tell you, growing up for me, Saturday night on TBS was a big part of wrestling for me. Not quite as big as watching Memphis wrestling, 'cause that's what I really grew up on and loved. But when I finally picked up on the Crockett's promotion on TBS, one of my favorites, I've got maybe three very memorable moments on that show. And you and Flair is one of them. You and Robert had just done a tag match against somebody. I'm not sure who it was. Somebody y'all beat pretty quickly and everything on the show. And Flair had come out to the podium where Crockett and Schiavone was, and he had come out there and he was waving the little training bra at you and everything, talking about how the teeny boppers were hollering for you. And he was all about
buddy,
and you guys just tore into it, or you tore into him, I should say. And I was just
great.
laughing. It was great. It was awesome.
Well, that was when, to me, I preferred when wrestling was real. That's when we kayfabed and we took care of the business, and we fought hard. And what you were speaking of, guys, we started in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where, Jerry Lawler is the one that put the Rock and Roll Express together. And that's where we went right into it. Funny you missed Memphis. Man, you got the guys that didn't even know in their business was different did. And I feel like I'm a real lucky person because I got to, but I've been wrestling for 40 years. I have seen 4 different, decades of wrestling and watched it as it changed and as it went on. But, God, Memphis was the hottest wrestling bed of wrestling ever. And we wasn't like it was back then, especially with Robert and I. And don't get me wrong, WWE is the king of wrestling. I will say that, and I will give them that. But they only come to your town once a year. We wrestled in your town every week in that territory. Every Monday night in Memphis, every Tuesday Louisville. And you got to understand, guys, with Lawler and Dundee and Robert and I, these places sold out every week. Unbelievable, and we did that, especially when we went on to Bill Watts. Then when we went on to the Crockett's, you had weekly towns that we sold completely out every week for years, man.
Oh yeah, Mike. Unfortunately, I got a few years on him. He wasn't fortunate to grow up around the Memphis wrestling. Didn't really play in his area. And me and him talk about it often, and we are huge fans of the kayfabe era. That's what we like to. But we often discuss why it was better than today's stuff and everything. But you go into the Crockett's and all. That's a good time to mention the chemistry that you guys had with the Midnight Express. I mean, I don't care what version it was. You guys it's like it was instant magic no matter where you guys went.
In our business, and I will say this, and even though if we don't get put into the Hall of Fames, or even though if we don't do that, Robert and I wrote a whole chapter in the history books of professional wrestling versus the Midnight Express. Man, it was one of the greatest tag team runs of all time. And see, what you don't understand, you seen it off the TBS, but understand me, before we came to the Crockett Promotions and they were on nationwide TV, these went through every territory. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
The Louisiana, the Oklahomas, buddy, we sold out every, the Rock and Roll Express against the Midnight Express, and it worked in them small territories. Then when it came back around to the, nationwide, we went back and still sold them all out, still with the same thing, with Jimmy Cornette, the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. It was the chemistry, like you said, was so great. Even with Dennis and Bobby, and with Stan and Bobby, it didn't miss a beat. We just kept on going, and guys, and that's what I try to tell a lot of people. If you ever get a chance to go in and watch the matches of Robert and I against the Midnight Express, how you told a story in the match. Because we did the same thing then. I pride on what I done. When we wrestled the Midnight Express, we went out to the ring, dude. We never went less than 30 minutes in a match in the house show, because the people come to see us, and we try to give them their money's worth.
If I understand from Cornette before, I think he's quoted saying that you guys outsold Dusty and Flair one night. Y'all were in one town, they were in another, and y'all outsold them money-wise over them.
That happened.
As a matter of fact, it's on you know what? Matter of fact, let's plug something else right now, because I got it and I watched it. That's where I remember seeing it. It's on your DVD. It's on your DVD. That's where I saw it. Was it Rock and Roll Never Dies, I believe, or Rock and Roll? That's the title of it.
It's a new one, the purple one.
I have to dig it out behind me somewhere. I believe it's Rock and Roll Never Dies.
Yeah, I got it right there. Yes, buddy. We, I'm not here to put nobody down. I'm not here to hear you, but our business, if it's a political business and a treacherous business if you're not in that right group. But to me, man, and we're going to get back to this here in a minute. I'm going off on something else here. In our days, understand me, when I worked on top, I had people that depended on me to make a living for them. If you didn't have good houses, if you didn't draw good, nobody made no money. And so I worked hard at what we did. I took pride in what Robert and I did, and not to be jealous, not to be over. Oh yeah, but I had the booker there. Especially and dude, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. Just me and Robert against the Midnight Express, and our underneath card was nobody, because everybody was they were in Baltimore, Maryland, I believe, that day. It was Sunday afternoon, and we sold the Charlotte Coliseum completely out, and I don't think they had nothing, I don't think, at their show. I mean, don't get me wrong. They had something, but it was nothing like what we did in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I remember George South saying they always followed you guys instead of the others. They wanted to make sure that they were on the top card and get the best payout. So they made sure they followed you guys instead.
The business has changed. That's what I was talking about earlier. But see, we all, in my day, we depended on each other to make a living. It wasn't like we were fighting for these. Well, I didn't know at the time, and really, and any young guys out there is listening to this, and anybody that's out there, this is what I really preach, and not only about my wrestling school out here, about teaching the wrestling, about what it's like, but how important it is to get your education. You see, I was a dummy. I right now I should be a man. I didn't know that we were getting ripped off so bad and everything. I didn't realize, I was just wanting to be that wrestler, and living the life of a rock star. Didn't know it, but while everybody else was getting rich, but it came up to the part there you said, the jealousy, the things that come in our business that are so bad, and which that was going back to when you tell me, because I had the booker tell me I cannot sell out a building with him not on it, and and that's wrong. You hear me? That has happened, but man, that's just you look back. But I try to help now. I'm not here trying to preach a sermon, and I don't have the answers to everything. But gosh Almighty, man. Everything I know, my dad, I came from a wrestling family, and everything my dad told me, which at the time, I thought I knew everything. But everything my dad told me came true. Everything he told me. So
I remember him refereeing. Did he ever wrestle also?
Yes, he sure did, man. He wrestled years ago with Paul Morton. Great
well
worker,
before my time. I've never got to see too far back. But I do remember him refereeing for sure.
Oh yeah, well we're talking back, 50 years ago, dude. 50, 54, 55 years ago.
Yeah.
My dad wrestled. And everything.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, Chris.
Still with us? Hey, you had a question earlier. I believe you said you was gonna ask him about another singles match. I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ricky. I read that you once went to an hour draw with the then AWA World Champion Nick Bockwinkel. And Nick Bockwinkel has always been one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. I go back and watch the old footage of him wrestle, and I just wanted to know, what was it like to be in the ring with Nick Bockwinkel?
Well, we don't really, and let me go into this right here. When we wrestled, this is before the Rock and Roll Express. I wrestled, being a guy, I had a great tag team partner that taught me how to be a babyface. His name was Ken Lucas. Me and Ken Lucas, we wrestled the Blanchard territory, Southwest Championship Wrestling, out of San Antonio, Texas, which was Tully Blanchard's daddy, Joe Blanchard, that ran it. And they were affiliated with the AWA. And at the time that I went in there with Ken Lucas, which we were working the tag team era with Tully Blanchard and Gino Hernandez, and doing real good. But in that spot there, I really, I had my spot. I really filled it. So they gave me a little single run, and they brought Nick Bockwinkel in. The world, like Flair did. Flair, when it's affiliated with NWA, they bring Flair in. So I got the spot of the top babyface to wrestle Nick Bockwinkel. And matter of fact, it took me a long way. The Hemisphere Arena, which is tore down in San Antonio, Texas. It was my first hour Broadway ever. And matter of fact, Nick, anybody out there, super nice, one of the classiest acts in the world, but he had the brain, Bobby Heenan, with him. And gosh, guys, what a duo that you had there. And out of that hour Broadway, I had such a good match with him. Nick referred it to a lot of other promoters while I went in, for Paul Botch. I don't know if you guys remember him, one of the greatest promoters out of Houston, Texas. Yes, and went down there and guys, and at that time working main event one, Nick Bockwinkel, but that's a lot of money. And a lot of money that for me it was. You understand me? But yes, I learned so much from him, and came and especially and really realized what a great talker, what a great mind for our business that Bobby Heenan had. It's a great experience for me, guys. And
there's a lot of managers. A lot of managers like it with great minds. Bobby Heenan, Cornette, and Paul Heyman. Those three guys right there, I think were probably three of the best wrestling minds as managers that there was.
Oh yeah, buddy, and it was very, it was different, very cool, and had a great opportunity doing that. But
that's another one of the things that we don't see very much anymore is a great wrestling manager, just like we don't see great tag team wrestling.
Yes, I got you, buddy, and I understand. You know what? I almost went into that earlier. I was telling you about. See how the business changed, and understand when tag team wrestling, especially, and really what happened to our business, especially in the era of when WCW took over NWA. Well, they brought people in there, which the corporate business. They're really going to do this and that, but they brought guys in to run our business. I mean, look at Bill. What's his name? Bill Hurd. That ran a pizza place. I mean, Jesus Christ, give me a break. They brought him in there like he knew everything about wrestling. And then after that, and don't get me wrong, with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and him, I liked them guys. But Eric Bischoff was horrible. He didn't know nothing about our business. All it was to get him over. And during that time right there, you know, they thought, well, tag team wrestling is dead. No, it ain't tag team wrestling is dead. You have already passed out all these big contracts. And here, nobody's working together. Everybody wants that number one spot to make that number one money, and they don't care about their partners. And during that time right there, the art of tag team wrestling was lost. Like I was telling you earlier, it's not the part that tag team wrestling is dead. It's the part that the guys out there no more know how to do it. It's very few tag teams. You know, I mentioned one, you know, Matt and Jeff Hardy, but you watch TV on there. Their timing's messed up. You know, they're out there. You know, the guys nowadays are all hot spot wrestlers. They just want to do a hot spot. You know, they don't understand about, you know, how to tell a story in a match or anything. You know, just go out there. It's like they got a playbook outside the ring. Hot spot number 1, hot spot number 2, hot spot number 3. Then it's right there. But the guys don't really realize what all you could do. I mean, how you could take just a headlock takeover and a tackle and turn that into a story. They don't know how to do it. They just do it. You hear me?
You never see chain wrestling anymore. Like you said, it's 5 moves of doom with a high spot and kick out at 2, and you always know what's going to happen. That's one of the things that Chris and I always discuss about.
Oh yeah,
really
you know,
get to us anymore as fans is we just can't get into it because by the time it starts, we already know how it's going to end.
Yes, you sure do, because you could tell. You know, the writers there are doing things. You know, instead of letting something lead over to next week, they got to do it all in one night. And that one night it leads up, and by the time the pay-per-views come, hell, everybody knows what's happening. You know, they can call the match. Why even watch it for them? You know,
there's no real mystery to it no more. I remember watching some of the shows back in the day where somebody would come into a match and jump the people in there. They'd have an all-out brawl going in the ring. But as they're brawling, it goes off the air, and you're like, no! I want to see what happened. Well, now you got to wait till next week. And you got to see what turned out. So you're going to turn in next week, and you're going to watch it and see what happened and how it went from there. But you don't get a lot of that. Now you get a lot of the boss is king. This is what's good for business. You know, the boss's daughter, the in-law son, the son-in-law. They run everything. They're going to be the big bad guy on the show.
And it's every week. Do you hear me?
Every week.
Every week. Just about it up, you know. And
out of a 3-hour show, Mike, what do we get? An hour of wrestling, 2 hours of discussion, 2 hours of talking in the ring?
If we're lucky,
we get an hour of wrestling. I mean, it gets really ridiculous. And there's just, you know what? Let me get your thoughts on this, Ricky. I don't know what the political term is here. I know that when you look online, they refer to people as jobbers when they lost matches week in, week out. Like, you know, you had the Mulkey brothers and some of the other guys and everything. I can't remember all the names, but do you not think we miss that today in a way? I mean, we miss having shows where you have these guys on there. Yes, they're getting squashed each week or they lose each week, but you're getting to see a lot of the stars against other guys. Plus, it brings in more jobs for wrestling, and you start building up more of a story again because when these guys were wrestling these other guys, like you might have had yourselves wrestling the Mulkey brothers, you were wrestling them, putting on a show for the fans, but you're building up your story toward the Andersons next week or the Koloffs or the Midnight Express or whoever you might be wrestling at the time. I mean, do you not think we miss these guys in the business and we need them back there again?
Yes, I do. And one reason, too, let's go back to that you prefer it's the job boys. The job boys in our day were great workers. They knew their job and they knew what to do. But see, today, you know, if you watch on TV, you have you top guys wrestling. I mean, every week they'll bring people in for, you know, that's how you build a heel, how you build a babyface is getting them over on TV, watching them on there. You know, instead of giving, I mean, you're giving them their, you know, your pay-per-view just during the show.
On Monday nights. You're getting the pay-per-view matches every Monday. And then Thursday you rehash Monday night.
Yeah, and you do this, and they do it the same thing every week. You know who you're going to push. I noticed on there that a lot of the guys are hurt. You know, they're getting that way, trying to perform. And then when they get to that point, they have nobody to use. You hear me? They haven't got nobody else ready over. They're all going with the same thing. And to me, I think it's wrong. It's a lot more out there they can offer the business. You know what? And to me, I always seem like it'd go back that way. But you know, that's why. And now I'm gonna get off because I don't even hardly watch it no more because I'm like you. It's the same thing not every week. You know, and you lose interest after a while. You know, a long time ago they used to have some good storylines and it did something. But now, like you said, now not unless you're one of the chosen few, you know, you'd be better off trying to win the lottery is to try to get a job. And guys, you know, and let's get back. And I'm just going to tell you, you know, I have a great wrestling school. I train a lot of great guys. But man, you know what it would be just to try to, you know, to be one of those chosen few and see you're out there competing on these independent shows where some of them are so horrible that a guy can't really even show his talent. You know, I had one of my guys to go work with somebody a couple of days ago, and he's a great at work, and he called me and said, this guy's horrible. I said, don't do nothing. You know, I mean, don't get hurt. That's the way I am. Me, I don't know if you guys, I've been doing this for 40 years. Even though I'm 60 years old, I can still hurricane run. I can still dive out of the ropes. But I don't trust nobody out there on the circuit to have those kind of matches with no more. You know, I'm afraid they're going to drop me on my head, and you see guys hurt all the time. It's the same thing that's happening. They're trying to more risk, you know. But man, who am I? You know what I'm saying? I don't. You got me on a roll there, buddy.
Well, I tell you what. You say, who am I? We say you're the one that's got a great opinion of it because you lived through it and everything. When you did all the stuff back in the day, and you see how it's turned out today. And Mike, you like we said, Mike, you know yourself, it just keeps being the same thing every week and all, right?
Oh, of course. And you know, Chris, Ricky's not the first one that has said about the other guys on the independent circuit. You know, we've had other guests in the past say that there's so much out there right now that people say, I want to be a professional wrestler, and someone who is kind of halfway a promoter and has a startup company will pat them on the butt and throw them in the ring, and they don't really have any training, and they don't really, you know, they're not.
Yeah, and that's what you're dealing with. But see, and understand me, and what these guys don't understand is people like us, it's what we do for a living. Now, around in the North Carolina areas and everywhere, and like Knoxville, Tennessee, you got these goofy promoters down there that the fairs and everything that we depended on. Well, see, we got paid good money for doing those fairs every year by that. Well, see, these guys went in that know nothing about our business, off their own wrestling ring because they're so horrible that nobody else would not use them. But they would go to the fair and tell them, hey, listen, we would do it for free, right? Now, they have their free show, and after when the first match goes on, they're so horrible that the fans run them off. They come into the towns, and they get these people to sponsor wrestling them, and the sponsors are not sponsoring nothing, and once they see the product, they don't want nothing to do with it. No, now, when people like us go back in to try to get the fairs or to get this show or get them sponsors to help us, well, these guys done robbed them, killed them, and gave them such a horrible thing that we can't have it no more. You know? Hello?
It's crazy. It's crazy now. You know, you mentioned earlier, you made a comment earlier about how you don't know when it's all said and done, when it's over with, if y'all will ever be in any of the Hall of Fames or anything like that. One of the biggest things for the last 3 years, at least 3 or 4 years on my Facebook page, all I do every year is complain and gripe and complain because I don't see the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, I see Ivan Koloff, I don't see Lance Russell as an announcer. I mean, we've got Gordon Soley in there, we've got JR in there, you know, and you got JR in over Lance Russell, I think is a crime to begin with. They've got a Rikichi in over an Ivan Koloff. And Coco Beware, I'm not trying to knock the man. I remember watching him when I was younger as, you know, Sweet Brown Sugar and all that stuff and everything. But he's in over Ivan Koloff, and I'm not sure that's even correct. They put in
Coco in the Hall of Fame.
Who's that?
Is Coco in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Coco Beware's in the WWE Hall of Fame. Because the thing is, I do believe is because Vince made him the Birdman when he got there. And Vince likes to put in people.
You know, I like Coco. I'm glad for him. I just didn't know he was in there. You know.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong, and I like him.
Yeah,
but
I do.
to get in before an Ivan Koloff or, gosh, Mike, what's the big name we always say? Luthez.
Luthez
is not in there.
How can you have any kind of Hall of Fame that is remotely supposed to be tied to professional wrestling and not have Luthez in it?
I got you. Yeah,
so, but I mean, what we're saying is that the names, all the names that built the way for everybody to get in there, who's in there now, these guys aren't in. You've got the possibility of Demolition going in this year. And I know that they did different things before Demolition. You know, I think one of them was one of the famous masked guys. I forget, I don't know if it was the Destroyer or who it was. Ed something or other. Barry Darsall, you fought against him, Russians. But it's just that I can't help but think there's other teams that are more deserving to get in there first. And I finally just come to the realization and stop getting all worked up over it, because it is the WWE Hall of Fame, not the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I got you. You know, the guys and I'm not here to knock WWE, but they do have a real Wrestling Hall of Fame out of New York, and it really is. That's the real one, but what a pleasure, or what accomplishment, and how, you know, really, and understand me, we were before all the contracts, and we were before, and we got robbed. But just what WWE don't realize is people like us, how it would change your life just to be in there, you know, especially, you know, we don't get paid for action figures. We don't get paid. I mean, how it would change our life. You know, I'm 60 years old and I'm still wrestling, not because of a choice or not because it's the only thing I know. Do you understand me? I didn't make the millions of dollars. You know, we only had like a couple good runs for Crockett, you know, and dude, after you raise 7 children and you got $7,000, you know, it's not like that. This is what we did in our life.
So you guys didn't get anything off the action figures that came out?
Well, that was for Jax. Nobody put them out. Jax made those on themselves. You know what I'm saying? We got a little something off of it, but not much.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought they had to have your permission at least or something to use your likeness for the.
Well, they did.
Which, by the way, I will say, you can't hardly find them anywhere. I have looked for you guys all over eBay, and when I do occasionally find it, you know, and I understand why too, because they're hard to find. People are wanting, you know, $100, $150 for the. You know, the pair.
Oh, yeah, because there ain't many of them out there.
Right, there's not very many out there at all. They're very hard to come across. And I don't buy very many of the figures, only buy the ones that I like. And y'all's have been ones I've looked for, and I've looked to see if they had the old AWA version of the Fabulous ones. Can't find those anymore either, really hardly. So
one day
we'll
buddy.
They'll be out there, you know.
And another thing, and listen to this, I mean, you see all this stuff on WWE Network, all these videos that Vince made that Robert and I are on, you know, the most bloodiest. They got a brand new one that just came out with us on it. We never got one dime. You hear me?
Yeah.
Not one dime.
I've actually heard that from somebody else as well. I believe there's, I don't know if it's Bobby Fulton, maybe Bobby Fulton, that has been real big against that so far. I think he might even have a lawsuit against him or something.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? I mean, you can't. You know, WWE is a $1 billion business. WWE is a corporate business. You know, they have lawyers.
Yeah, you'll be fighting.
They have lawyers for their. They have lawyers for their lawyers. You're not going to win. You understand me? No, and I'm serious. No way you're going to win. They, their lawyers have lawyers for their lawyers.
I fully believe you. I think Billy Jack Haynes is making a fool of himself right now, trying to keep continuously trying to get them for his problems he's having today. I mean, I know he had a lot of years where he had done his fair share of the stuff he shouldn't have done, and now he's in pain and stuff a lot these days. And but instead of trying, I guess, to get done about it, he's just looking to single WWE out and get a big payout from them. But he's not had any luck at it in over I don't know how many years, and I don't think he's ever going to have any luck with it. Talking about the WWE, really fighting. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just saying you can't fight City Hall, dude. You know,
True.
You can't. Oh, okay.
True.
Go ahead. What question was you going to ask,
Oh,
fella?
well, I was just going to say, I do remember you guys being in WWE for a brief minute. It was like a Smoky Mountain invasion coming in with Jim Cornette.
Yeah, we did that right there. And then the next time, we did the Smoky Mountain thing with the, because getting the heavenly bodies over and taking them there. Then we came in, like the NWA with Jimmy Cornette. Man. But all that was Jimmy Cornette worked for WWE.
Right.
And we were, the boys was out here. We depended on wrestling for a living, and don't get me wrong, this is a good thing. Jimmy brought us in and got us a job. You hear me? It didn't matter what we did. He got us a job. We didn't have no contract, but he had us a job. And every night that we worked, we got paid for it. So that's the boys taking care of the boys, which they don't do no more.
Was there any thoughts of making a run there?
No, buddy. They had no plans for us there. You know what I'm saying? They had no plans for us there, and that was it, and everything like that, guys. But let me take a minute here to see if you guys ever get a chance, and the people out there listening, and the greatest things that I started out very hard with nothing. If you go on Facebook, it's called the School of Morton. It's my wrestling school. And if you check it out, guys, and go through it, because we run, just for my boys, we run angles. We have our own little TV show at my school. You hear me? But I show it on the Facebook. Get a chance to go through it and look at some of the ideas and how I talk to these kids, how to talk a little bit, how to work a little bit. I took some of my kids I even have little kids there, man, and it's great. But it's like I was telling you earlier, it's not all about the wrestling, that you got to understand this is a big world and you can't see it unless you got an education. You can't see it unless there's something that you want so bad that you got to work for it, man. You don't get nothing free.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, man. But it's something I accomplished it, and really check it out. I really love it. I really love what I do, basically. And gentlemen, I hope that I'm not doing this. I've been on the road for 2 days, had no sleep, and working. And guys, I wish and hope that you could bring me back on your show.
We'd love to anytime.
I'm really sorry. And just call me. But I want to tell all the folks out there that Robert and I dedicated our life to our business, and for me to perform in front of them, which I do every night. It's a pleasure for me, not only for him, but a pleasure for me too. I love my business. I love what it is, and I love what I became in it. I love people like you guys that are still out there that have that quality, and it reminds me. I always say this after every speech: don't stop believing. Journey, but that's it. It's Santa Claus. Our business is, but it's the greatest business in the world until the corporate business took it over. There's nothing I can do about that. But I'm out here on the independent circuit. Get a chance to come and see us. Come and see us. We wrestle for a lot of big companies, guys. We sure do. I was telling you we're going to be in Marietta, Ohio on the 12th, but big time wrestling. And we're going back to on the 26th of this month. We're going to be back in Dorton Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Robert and I haven't been there since the Crockett days, one of our big towns, along with the Road Warrior Joe and Billy Gunn, and a lot of us will be out there. If you guys get a chance, back down in Spartanburg on 27th. But if anybody out there listening, you get a chance to come and see us, please do that, because without the fans, we couldn't have wrestling. Guys, to y'all,
I do need to make a road trip, that's for sure. I do. And hey, look, we'd love to have you back on with us again if we could. Maybe several months down the road from here.
And I'm not going to cut you short because it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm fixing to get down Charlie Brown.
I think I don't think you're the only one. That's why we bumped you up a few hours today, so we're all good.
Okay.
But look, we really appreciate you coming on with us this week, Ricky, and we'll have you back on again as soon as we possibly can, whenever it's okay with you. On top of that as well. So, but we will definitely have you back on again to continue our talks and everything.
Yeah, guys, thank you out there, man. Thank you very much for your time. Thank all the fans, buddy. Good night.
All right, take it easy. All right, Mike, you still with me?
I'm still here, Chris.
All right. Well, there you go. Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, everybody. Great career, great tag team career. Could have been a great solo career if he really wanted it to be, and had his time, like you said. but always a great tag team wrestler dedicated to the tag team scene with Robert Gibson.
Well,
Now,
what else can you say?
I know,
I
know what surprise, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, he could have went out, been on his own, and done his own thing and been a world champion.
Right.
But
most likely could have. Now, the time that when him and Flair were having their deal, if I remember correctly from the DVD, I believe that was the time that Robert hurt his leg, had to have surgery on his knee, and was going to be out for a little bit, and that's why they had the solo run there with Morton and Flair. It's either that time or it's when they put Morton. No, you know what? That may have been when they put Ricky Morton in with I forget the woman's name, but they called him Richard Morton, and they had I believe Mike Rotundo there. They had Terrence Taylor as a part of it. You know, they called them by their full names, that they were proper and everything. They dressed up to come to the ring before they wrestled and stuff. That might have been the time when Robert hurt his knee. But anyway, he's only had a couple of times that he was solo doing some things. And but when he had the solo time, it was good. Now, he was solo a little bit in Memphis as well. He revisited Memphis when it was USWA, I believe, at that time. And he had some matches against Eddie Gilbert, some matches, I want to say, against Dutch Mantell, and some great things in as well. I believe he even won the Southern Heavyweight title at one point. But that's another story for another time. The next time we get him on, we'll talk about some stuff like that as well and everything. Now, I know, in your opinion, now, Rock and Roll Express was great, right?
Oh, yes, no doubt.
I mean, I understand you're stuck on the New Day, and they're not the New Day, but you got to admit that Rock and Roll Express, they rock.
They do. They do, almost as much as New Day.
No, I think more than New Day, and they didn't even need that trombone to get by or anything. No Francesca. They didn't even need no Francesca number 2.
Let's, if we dial it back and we put the Rock and Roll Express and the New Day in the same era, Ricky Morton.
Well, the New Day wouldn't have made it then. You know, the New Day wouldn't have made it. They'd been buried.
That's true. That's true.
Because they're entertainment. They're World Wrestling Entertainment. They're not, World Championship Wrestling.
But let's be honest, Chris. Even World Wrestling Entertainment isn't giving us much of that entertainment or wrestling.
Not these days.
They should just change the name of the company to World. It's just World.
It's just a World. Join us next Monday night on Raw for World. I can see that. Yeah, it's like we all discussed earlier. You know, it's the same thing every week. The pay-per-view matches are on every Monday night in a different fashion.
I will say one thing. When Brock Lesnar was champion, and he was only on TV every now and then, you know just as well as I do how the internet wrestling community cried and moaned and complained how Brock Lesnar, how the world's champion's not there. The world's champion's not. I can't believe the world's champion hasn't been on TV. But you know what? They all watched that pay-per-view when Brock Lesnar was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Morton was onto something with that you got your top guys. They shouldn't be on TV every week. They probably
and not to mention, Mike, they were building up to the match with Lesnar. You had what was it? It was the Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar match they built up, or the John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. They built up over that time because Lesnar was hardly ever on TV, and they could talk about things. And then sometimes you'd think Lesnar was there, and it was just Paul Heyman coming out to build it up and hype it. And then a week or two before the pay-per-view, he'd show up and beat them up or something, take them to Suplex City, and that would be it. And they'd wait for the pay-per-view for the revenge. And if people are going to tune in, they want to see it. You know, back in the day, like I brought up earlier, why they don't have the workers there no more. Whenever the Rock and Roll Express would beat the Mulkey Brothers or two other guys in the ring and come out over there and immediately interview about what they're talking about, the Andersons or the Koloffs or the Midnight Express, they're talking about the next upcoming match with them, what they're going to do and how it's going to go. Sometimes you'd have some confrontations out there. Sometimes somebody would jump in the ring and, cause disqualification and get into a brawl or something. But now these days it's just expected. If you've got Roman Reigns out there and Dean Ambrose, someone's going to come in, jump in a match. Kevin Owens jumped in every Dean Ambrose match every week for 3 weeks and left him laying. just to lose at the pay-per-view in the last man standing match.
I was really excited about Kevin Owens. I really was. And just like everything else that the WWE gets its hands on, it shuffled to mid-card hell and left to rot and fester.
And it's not like NXT when he was on NXT, because NXT only had an hour. And you didn't see the same people on every week. So if Kevin Owens was on this week and the next week, he may not have been on that third weekend. He may have been out completely. He may have only showed up to talk on the fourth week. He might not have had a match. He might have showed up there to talk and interview, and he might have jumped somebody for 5 minutes, and that was it. Same thing with your Sami Zayn and your Neville when Neville was there. I don't know if was it Sami Zayn or Sami Zayn?
I'm really not sure exactly how you pronounce it. I think either way.
I don't know, but
I think they say Sami Zayn.
Yeah, and now you got Shinsuke Nakamura. Is that his name from the Bullet Club?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's coming to NXT. AJ Styles went to the main roster. He's going to NXT.
I want to say this, Chris. NXT is what we really are missing in professional wrestling. And Raw is why we watch NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no doubt.
WWE now has the market cornered on both what I want to watch and the reason I want to watch it. Maybe this is a brilliant marketing ploy by the WWE to sell network subscriptions. Let's make Raw suck so bad that they have to buy the WWE Network to watch NXT. I think I got a conspiracy theory going on here.
You think so?
The only thing keeping me tuned into Raw is the New Day, and you know it was New Day Rock. They were the freaking main event this week.
That's because they got nobody else that can main event right now. You know, everybody nobody wants. They're not going to put Sheamus and Rusev and Del Rio or any of those guys up against them in the main event. They're not going to bring Barrett out there for it. They're just going to bring them out there to jump them with the rest of the bosses, you know, and let that be the stuff that gets people upset. They get the wrong idea when it comes to feeding the people what they want. See, because they had a unique situation when it was Stone Cold versus the Boss, okay? That's a unique situation. Stone Cold Steve Austin did everything that everybody wanted to do or say to their bosses. And that's been done. It's over with. It's past. You cannot repeat it with Roman Reigns. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to repeat that same ploy with Roman Reigns. It doesn't work that way. You can, I think, if you do it right. You can make Roman Reigns as big as you want to make him. You really can. But it's got to be done the right way. I mean, and the thing is, Roman Reigns needs to be heel. He needs to be a heel. And Dean Ambrose can probably go either way, but he could be a heel as well. You could take those two guys and turn them heel right now and talk about a big twist all of a sudden. But the thing is, they got them so tied up with Triple H and Stephanie and Vince and all this stuff now they're trying to put through that you can't get out of it right now.
I think they've already burnt Roman Reigns up. I think that this whole thing where they tried to force him on the fans and they tried to force him into something that wasn't working.
I'm telling you, I promise you, you can repackage him any way you want and make something with him. You can repackage him. You can when you get stale at a certain position in the past, they always turns you the opposite direction. If you were stale as a heel, they'd have you come out there surprisingly rescue somebody. Jimmy Garvin got pretty stale for a little bit there, and whenever Cornette threw the fire into Ronnie Garvin's face and burned him, and they started kicking him while he was down, Jimmy Garvin, of all people, came out to help him because they're supposedly, kayfabe brothers is what happened here. But he was getting stale. Nothing was going on for him. So they flip-flopped him. Same thing when it comes to Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania had gotten stale. Nobody cared about Hulkamania as much anymore as they used to. What happens? The biggest heel turn of history, and now he's irrelevant again. He's back on top of his game as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Take Roman Reigns, turn him heel, or do something fun with him. Huh?
This isn't staleness, Chris. This isn't 1996 anymore. This is an entire, basically their entire fan base pretty much hates Roman Reigns.
But if you turn him heel, when he was heel, when they were part of the Shield and he was heel, they were cheering the Shield.
Exactly.
So I'm telling you, change him heel. Make him a brutal heel right now, like Brock Lesnar. Make him go in and dominate the babyface someone likes so much. Make him go out and just dominate him one day and tear people up. You know, and have a small feud with him and make it end quickly because they can't hang with him because he's so big. A big feud with him. Have him turn on Ambrose. When Seth Rollins come back, he's coming back good, they said. Turn him heel, have him turn on Ambrose, and let them fight each other for a while. That'll bring a new renewed interest into their characters at least, or do some silly stuff they ain't done in a long time. Have a loser leaves tag match where somebody has to leave the organization, but suddenly a masked man comes back and signs with the company, and you know it's him, but you got to unmask him to prove it, okay? They've not done that in a long time. Do something like that. You know, make it worthwhile. Bring something that's new to it that we haven't seen in a long time, and make it fun again.
Maybe they can salvage him, but I just don't see it. So, by the way, Chris, did you get the box of Booty-O's that I sent you? Because you know
I did not get the Booty-O's. No, I have seen it advertised. However, you know, I'm honestly afraid to try them. I'm honestly afraid to try them.
Well, why are you scared?
It's got the word booty on it. I don't know where the Booty-O's come from. I mean, do they come from the booty or something? I don't want them if that's the case.
Now, come on, Chris. You know everybody wants a little booty.
Not of a cereal box. All right, look, we got we're coming up on the 2-minute mark, Mike. So let's go ahead and wrap up. We got
come on, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Let's go. Let's give the people what they want. They want to watch some touchdowns.
That's right. We want to see Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl.
I'm fine with that.
It doesn't matter to me who wins, but as long as one of my team's not relevant this year at all. So whenever they become relevant again, we'll talk about it.
Hey, you know,
but
I'm always up for it when the guy that wins the Super Bowl can also do the arthritis cream commercial. That's great for me.
There you go. There you go. But now, of course, we got the website we want everybody to go to and visit. You know, www.bodyslamthecompetition.com. Make sure you go there, sign up. Currently, there's a contest going on there. Mike, I don't know if everybody's aware of this or not. There's currently a giveaway contest that whenever we reach the 500 subscriber, there is a 12-inch cane action figure made by Mattel, endorsed by the WWE, of course, that's being given away at the 500th member mark. And when we go beyond there, we'll start having different things, bigger things that we're going to be giving out. When we reach the 1,000 subscriber, we'll have something bigger than what we had on there. But we do encourage everybody to go out and register for that and get your chance in the drawing at least. You can also, when you sign up and register, all the blogs and the podcasts come to your email via link, and you get the monthly newsletter with everything from the month in there as well, talking about it. So it's a good thing to have. Join us on Facebook, Body Slam the Competition, and we're at Twitter at Body Slam the Comp. It kind of stops right there at Body Slam the Comp. You can add us there on Twitter and communicate with us through there as well. Mike, you have anything for us before we go? 33 seconds left.
New Day rocks.
That's all you ever have. I'm going to give me a new co-host, everybody. I need somebody with some new stuff. He's stuck on these New Day people.
I got more hair.
That I am too. Yes, I am. I truly am. All right. Join us.
Don't get too.
We will not have a show next week. Next week's Valentine's Day. We do return the 21st, and on the 21st we will have another special guest for you to listen to. Until then, Mike. See you next time.